Wall Street Memes Casino,
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.
This is Colin McGuigan for IFLTV. Every time I see that little smirk, I've got a bone to pick with you, Edward.
You've got the lowest hairline I've ever seen in my life.
How good is it though?
I would really like it. To be honest.
Well, it means I've only got a 2
no,
for
to
it.
be honest with you, yeah. To be honest with you, it's probably too low. You need somewhere in the middle of mine and yours. But that is the lowest. Like you literally 2 of your fingers above your eyebrows. Look, I've got probably another 2 of them to go. Unbelievable scenes. Good to see you.
Good to see you, mate. I've actually got a bone to pick with you. Enjoying my life in New York. Dressed a little bit different to how I normally would dress.
Yeah.
And you've absolutely killed me on Instagram. Why?
Do you know the thing about? I'm going to tell you a couple of things. Like, I like to give you, particularly, like some of you, your younger colleagues, Parsons particularly, I like to give my knowledge to you, right? Because obviously I've been through your stages, right? And I've been through life, and I've got to the middle, middle part of my life, hopefully, mid-40s. I get it, right? I get what life is about. You're always searching in your life to try and improve. You never really crack it, but I've got a much better understanding of it than you, particularly Parsons and people like this. This is what I've come to really understand. What you wear, right, and the only thing that matters about what you wear is that you look in the mirror and you go, fucking hell, yes, right? It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks, right? And I've only really established this over the last couple of years because now, like some people can't me, you, Eduardinho, what are you wearing, Eduardinho? Right, Parsons, oh, Eduardinho, what's that, a Jordan hoodie? As far as I'm concerned, I look in the mirror, I go, you are unbelievable. That's all that matters. Now, what you see in the mirror is very different to the reality of the situation, right? So when I put on a Jordan tracksuit, or when I put on, I don't know, whatever, and I look in the mirror and I go, yeah. The large part of the population look at me and go, what is he doing wearing that? Now, what I've established in life is it's absolutely irrelevant, doesn't matter. So when I saw the picture of you in the ripped jeans, the t-shirt, like you just went to me off camera there. What? I mean, they looked unbelievable. It's absolutely fine that you felt you looked unbelievable in those jeans. But I'm just letting you know, and it doesn't matter because I said like all that matters is that you looked in the mirror and you felt you were unbelievable. But I'm just letting you know that the wider audience would have looked at that picture and gone, what the fuck is Colin wearing? Do you know what I mean? Right.
The funny thing is so many people replied to me going, you've changed your dress sense. You're like a B-Tech Eddie Hearn. That's every comment I got.
I wouldn't wear those ripped jeans. But you know what's funny about how you dress is in life, you've got a style that people associate you with. Do you get what I'm saying? So, and for me, for years, it was a suit, right? Then, got a little bit older, made more of a nice few quid, and I just thought, I don't care. Like, I don't need to be in a suit. I'll wear a t-shirt and a pair of pants. I'll do a presser. It doesn't matter. That's actually when you get more confident in yourself, and you just don't give a fuck what people think. That's where I've got to right now in life. Now, you on the other hand, when someone questions your dress sense, you have a little mini inside meltdown because you're at the age where you do, right? Because what you are, what you are, Colin. Sorry, what you are, Colin. Because I was going to say you're the same as Parsons. You're a tryhard, right? So you're like, when you go out and you put the ripped jeans on and all that kind of stuff, I look at you and go, Colin, you're just trying too hard, mate. Do you know what I mean? Just wear what you normally wear. Do you know what I mean?
What I'm wearing now is fine, isn't it?
I mean, I don't mind the set. I like these sets. You've got a pair of Jordan shoes on with gold bits on them, with white socks pulled up. Like, yeah, it's okay. But that's Colin. This is what I'm seeing in front of me is Colin. What I saw on the Instagram of ripped jeans, t-shirt, chain. It's like, you're from... No, what's that other area that you always go on about in the middle?
Macrofeld.
You're from Macrofeld, right? So just be Colin from Macrofeld. Don't be Colin from the Bronx. Do you know what I mean? 'Cause
It was Berlanga-esque, to be fair.
But if you feel unbelievable in it, it actually doesn't matter. But when I saw it, I had to comment because you Parsons, all you do is take the piss out of me.
It's good to get a little bit back now and again.
Yeah, and I saw it. I thought, there's no way I'm letting him get away.
Do you know what bothers me the most? Me and Parsons were actually talking about this. When you have these slide digs, you don't even like the photos.
Well, I don't really. You know, people like a lot of photos. I'm so random with like. I'd rather reply or like whatever. You know, you younger generations. Like, oh, he didn't like my picture. Oh, I put an outfit on and no, he didn't like it. Do you know what Parsons always says? Like, he's so beggy with the retweets and stuff like that, right? It's like, can you? I just added you in as a collaborator. Can you accept the collab? No, I can't accept the collab. What, on my grid? You think I'm going to accept you, right? And every now and again, he'll ask me to retweet a story, which is so cringe to even ask that, right? But I'll only retweet ones where I feel like I look pretty good, right? So he'll deliberately try and choose pictures that I actually look okay in, so he'll get a retweet. He's such a beg merchant. He's actually messaged me to say that he's landed. And can he do so? He's going to be fuming that you got him first.
I actually seen him in the hotel when I was coming in, and that's obviously why he messaged you, I think.
Let's send him a voice note. Hi mate, yeah, I'm just doing COLM now, and I've got a few other interviews after that, so probably Wednesday would be best. Pick a time Wednesday, that should work. Anyone watching this now, it's actually Sunday now. Once he gets that, he's going to be absolutely fuming. So he'll be back.
Right, let's get in the box. We've had 6 minutes. I'm going to get absolutely burnt out in the comments here.
People do. Oh, why'd you talk?
6 minutes of getting to know Hearn. Don't want to know it. Want to get to the boxing. Let's go. Edward, we're in LA for a massive card. I want to ask you a few questions about this card first. Is this the biggest card ever in America in terms of there's not a fight on the undercard that couldn't be a main event in its own?
I've just been in a meeting with Matchroom, Seller, RIYADH season, going through the plans for the week. Combined, card, promotional plans, activities, I've never seen anything like this in America, right? I mean, we've done some massive Canelo fight. This blows the socks off of anything I've ever seen in terms of promotion, like activity, creativeness, obviously undercard as well. But, just looking at it then, Tuesday night, you've got the grand arrivals on Santa Monica Pier. Like, wait till you see it, mate. Wait till you see it. Wednesday, you've got the workouts, and then you've got a 3-fight card after the workouts with Mark Castro and a great fight as main event. Thursday, you've got the press conference at the Chinese Theatre. It's going to be stunning. Friday, 9 p.m, you've got the weigh-in outdoors at LA.
9 p.m?
Yeah, because obviously the weigh-ins, the official weigh-ins earlier in the day.
But why so late?
Because it's going to be an unbelievable crowd. Why do it at 5 or 6? Why not do it as an event at night? Music, get people interacting. And obviously Saturday, it's an 8-fight card. It's just unbelievable. So top to bottom, fight card, promotion, fight week activity. The biggest thing I've ever been involved with in America. And I can't wait. I think it's a brilliant card.
Talk to me a little bit about your guy, Madrimov, against what, some people will say is the pound for pound #1 in the sport in Terence-Crawford. Is this the chance for Madrimov to really make himself a household name? I'm not saying he's not, but no, he's not. Over here, he's not really well known.
Listen, Madrimov is not a household name. You don't have to be polite about it. He's an unbelievable fighter. He's a world champion that's on his way to establishing himself in the sport. So we never expected, when he won the world title in Saudi, we never expected him to fight Terence-Crawford. We were going to have 2 or 3 defences, maybe look for a unification, I don't know, fight Tim Tszyu, fight Errol, whatever. Crawford comes along, and it's one of those tough decisions because in terms of manoeuvring Madrimov, probably not the fight you'd look for. But in terms of the opportunity, in terms of the money, in terms of the legacy, and in terms of the belief in the team, he accepted it. Not, oh, well, it's a few quid, He accepted it as in, I think I can win this fight. Joel Diaz, we think we can win this fight. Crawford moving to 154. And when obviously, I promote Madrimov. So all the sound bites you're going to hear from me is Madrimov's too big at 154. Madrimov's a great amateur. Madrimov punches very, very hard. Madrimov's movement and IQ is really good. They're all 100% true. But we are in a mammoth task against Terence Crawford because he is brilliant, right? I think he is pound for pound number one. But he is getting a little bit older. He is moving up the weight classes. And he's in with a fresh 154 pounder that punches very hard. And for that reason, I think it's the toughest fight of Terence Crawford's career so far. And I know that we're underdogs, but I really like our shot. And Madrimov has no pressure. He can just go out there, and if he wins, I always say, like, if you beat the pound for pound number one, do you become the pound for pound number one? The answer actually in the rankings is no. But I'll tell you what, it gives you a great argument, doesn't it? I mean, so that's what Madrimov's fighting for, and he's more than capable of winning this fight. But he's going to have to put in a great performance against an all-time great in Terence Crawford.
We've noticed that obviously Turki Al-Sheikh has had a lot to say about Canelo-Crawford. He'll make the offer. In your opinion, if Crawford comes through this test against Madrimov, is Canelo-Crawford the biggest fight in the sport right now?
One of, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a massive jump. I mean, it's a big jump. I remember when Terence Crawford, the first world title he won was on my show against Ricky Burns. It was at 135 pounds. He was a pretty small guy. Went to 140, went to 147. Now he's at 154. Sooner or later, it's a step too far. Could be Saturday. But you're not talking about 160. You're talking about 168 against a real big, strong super middleweight in Canelo Alvarez. But you got to test yourself. Like, what else is there to do? Crawford will take the fight. I don't think Canelo's mad on it because he's probably thinking, what if I beat Crawford? I've beat a 154 pounder. But, look, Canelo Alvarez is just all now. But he always likes the challenge. He's all about the money. You pay him the money, he'll take the fight. But it's just whether someone will pay the amount of money he has in mind.
I'll go briefly to something else. Canelo Berlanga. Does that sit a bit different for you? Because you're Berlanga's guy. You've just spoke to me openly there about how you're going to be singing Madrimov's praises on stage. Are you going to do that for Berlanga against Canelo?
Of course. Yeah, look, Parsons has replied.
I feel like you and Colin are on the wind-up with me there. And if you are not, I suppose we'll play by ear, mate. And Wednesday it is.
Hey, mate. No, I'm not on a wind-up with Colin. No, I don't mean to be rude about Wednesday, but I've just obviously got a lot of media, so I just have to put it in priority order. So I should get round to you on Wednesday. But if I can fit you in earlier, then I'll do my best.
Are you going to be singing Berlanga's praises?
Listen, firstly, we delivered our promises to Edgar Berlanga. Not actually in the circumstances that I would have expected. I would have expected us to be representing Canelo and doing a deal for him to fight Berlanga. We did even better than that. We did a deal with PBC for the fight. Shout out Keith Connolly as well, who played a big role in this deal. But we delivered our promise to Edgar Berlanga. Like we said, 2 fights, maybe 3, and you will fight Canelo Alvarez. And we've done it. I love the fight because I know what Edgar's all about. He's a strong 168 pounder that's very aggressive and punches very hard. And he will do everything in that ring. He will give his absolute soul to try and beat Canelo Alvarez. When you say about, whose side will I be on? I'll be on Edgar Berlanga's side. But also, I can't, lie about my fondness of Canelo Alvarez. I think he's an incredible fighter. I think he's a great guy. But we got the golden ticket. The Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Yeah, we won the lottery. Because everybody's queuing up for a pick. And when you're negotiating for a fight like that, there's a lot of people playing games and pretending other people in the running. And we liked our spot from the start. We're mandatory challenger, undefeated Puerto Rican fighter. We felt like we'd get the fight. We got it. We got the right deal. We're grateful for the opportunity from PBC, and Edgar will give it everything on a massive fight.
When you reference other people maybe not being in the running, are you referring to Boxer and Chris Eubank Jr., where reports kind of came out that that deal was close and then it kind of just dwindled away?
No, I'm not saying there wasn't conversations, but I think they were probably played a little bit as a pawn, you know, because they were, when we were negotiating, they would come back to Keith and me and go, "Oh, we're really close with Eubank, but we want to go with Edgar." Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I just know the game. So I never. It was a bit like the whole Eubank thing was very left field, but there was no one else really that they could pawn you off against and pretend that, you know, Charlo's not in the running, weren't going to be William Skull, the Benavidez fight's not happening. It's Edgar Berlanga. Right? So you need someone to say, oh, and it might be, and I guess that was the one that, you know, they used, and we're really pleased to get the fight.
Let's pivot back to this card in LA this week. And forget about the main event for a second. What's the pick of the bunch for you, Eddie, in the rest of the fights?
So many good fights. I mean, you know, obviously you got Andy Cruz, David Morrell, two of the best fighters in the world. I love Jared Anderson against Martin Bakole. I think he's such a great fight. I think it's such, say, bad matchmaking from Team Anderson. I mean, it could be amazing, but Martin Bakole, the problem Martin Bakole's had is he's a right handful, good fighter, and no one really knows who he is, right? Probably most people in the audience on Saturday and tuning in and watching on the Zone in America or, you know, wherever, don't actually know who Martin Bakole is. And he's a legitimate top 10 heavyweight, in my opinion, right? If he's fit on Saturday, and this is one of the problems with Martin Bakole, he is going to be a gigantic handful for Jared Anderson, who I really rate, who I went and watched spar the other day in Florida. He's a great fighter. I'm telling you now, this is a serious 50-50 fight. And if you lose to a guy that no one really knows, you're banging in trouble. So, like, I have to be honest with you. If I was manoeuvring the career of Jared Anderson, I probably wouldn't take this fight. But I'm not going to swear for Auntie Donnie. I love the fact that he's taking this fight. As a fan, this is a brilliant heavyweight matchup. Someone is going to get cleaned out in that fight. And you better have big cojones in this fight. And I think Jared Anderson's got big cojones. I'm not so sure about Martin Bakole. I think he's a great fighter, tough man. But if Martin Bakole has got the cojones, and if he's fit, and if he really wants to win on Saturday, I said to Shakur, I went, mate, I've got to, because they're very close. I said, mate, I've got to tell you, this is a mad bit of matchmaking. Oh no, Jared's it. I said, mate, Jared's good. But, you know, he's never fought anywhere near this level. What's his best win? Charles Martin? You know, a fade like Charles Martin on the, you know, and that was like, not close, but reasonably competitive. Great fight. Great fight. As is Andy Ruiz against Jarrell Miller. Jarrell Miller all of a sudden goes into Boots Ennis's gym, comes out, he's in shape. Have you seen him?
I haven't seen him yet.
Oh, mate, the moves have gone and everything. I mean, he's bang in shape. And he's gonna roll the dice here. And Andy Ruiz hasn't boxed for what? 18 months? I don't know, 2 years? This is I think Andy Ruiz is a favourite in the fight. But I'll tell you what. Let me tell you what happens in boxing. Andy Ruiz makes an absolute fortune out of the two AJ fights, right? Does him in. Does his head in, right? Very difficult. People, you got the hangers on, you got people who use you, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm just telling you this is what happens in life and in boxing. His head goes, right? Comes back, fights Arreola, fights Ortiz. Yeah? Did he fight Ortiz? Yeah, I think so. I don't remember. Anyway. And makes another few quid, and he has all this time off. Now, when you come back and you're up against it and you're 6 rounds in and you got some big horrible geezer called Big Baby Miller slobbering all over you, right, leaning on you, 22 stone or whatever he is, hitting you around the side of the head, and you go to yourself, do I really want to be doing this? That's boxing. And if Andy Ruiz don't really want to be doing this anymore, he's going to be in a tough fight. I hope Andy Ruiz comes back, wants to be great again, wants to win the World Heavyweight Championship again. But if he don't, and he's just doing it for the money or his heart's not really in it, that's going to be an interesting fight. Pitbull against Valenzuela, your guy. Yeah. Very interesting. Very interesting.
Can Valenzuela do it?
Do you know what? I haven't seen enough of both guys, but I'm not sure about Pitbull.
Why do you say that?
I think he's very strong. I think he's very crude. I think he punches hard. But against a mover and Valenzuela is a good boxer. I think that could be a little bit of a banana skin.
And it'd be wrong of me not to ask you. There's been reports online that ticket sales have been really, really poor for this event. There's been suggestions that maybe it was put in LA, it should have been put in Vegas, it would have sold better. Just your reaction to that?
I mean, I met the Riyadh season guys earlier. Obviously, they're in charge of all of that. The crowd's going to be very good. I think that, we're still selling hard this week. Obviously, when there's a show of this magnitude, it is expensive. You've got Eminem performing as well. I mean, it's a historical night. So you'll see on Saturday, it'll be a very, very good crowd there. And yeah, as we sit here now, tickets are moving, and they're moving fast. We know that America is notoriously, and Los Angeles is a late market. Obviously, as I said, when you price an event to the nature of the event, it's going to be expensive, and sometimes it takes a little bit longer to sell, but you will see a big crowd there on Saturday night.
I want to ask you about last night. We've seen Chisora face Joe Joyce. What was your thoughts on that, Eddie? Did you enjoy that fight? Did you think that maybe Chisora still has something to give in the sport? And obviously with Joe Joyce losing, what happens next for him?
Alright, cheers Ed, mate. Let me know if you can do sooner, that'd be great. Even if it's just for 10, 15 minutes or so. Alright mate, thank you.
Just do a thumbs up reaction to it.
It has absolutely broken my heart.
I feel bad.
Priority order has...
I feel bad. Hold on. What's like a terrible outlet like? How about this? Hey mate, I don't mean to be rude and break your heart, but obviously it's a busy week. I've just looked at the schedule. On Tuesday, I've got a 6 p.m. with Choo Choo FM. It's like a local radio station in Orange County. I could probably move them to the Wednesday and replace you with Choo Choo FM. Chisora Joyce. I mean, Derek, you'll find it very hard to find a tougher man than Derek Chisora. Do you know what I mean? I think that having seen him in so many wars over the years, you don't really like to see him in another one. And whether that's because he's been in so many of them or whether it's just because we love him. We love Del Boy. I see him in. But his resolve and his cojones, as we said earlier, like, he loves what he does, And as I keep saying about Derek Chisora, people will criticise him. Oh, he shouldn't be fighting anymore, right? He just beat Joe Joyce. So I keep saying to people, Derek Chisora is a top 20 heavyweight in the world. Do we agree? 20, 25. So, and he might argue top 15. But even if you want to be critical, so being a top 20 heavyweight in the world is a pretty good achievement. So it's hard for him to stop when he's still winning. I think, that would be an incredible way to go out, if you like. But I know Del Boy, and Del Boy will go, what are you talking about? I ain't going out nowhere. I love it. Do you know what I mean? Only Del and the people close enough to him who see him day in, day out in the gym know when it's really time to pack it in,
Talked about the Zhang fight last night. Is that a fight you would like to see him against Zhilei Zhang?
I didn't mind the Joe Joyce fight because Joe is, like, with all due respect, very slow, quite limited, very easy to hit. So I didn't mind that fight. I didn't think it was a dangerous fight for Derek. Thought he could still get beat, but it wasn't a dangerous fight. Zhang's a different kind of fight. You know, Zhang has very heavy hands, and I'm not sure that's a great style matchup for Derek. He also hates southpaws, but you know, he said that to me a few times just to get more money. But you know, I think
Any of your stable that you'd look at and say, you know what, I'll put them in with Aj-Dubois next.
I wouldn't really want to put anyone in with Del because, you know, you don't want to see him get beat. But I think a fight that fills up the O2 is Aj-Dubois against Johnny Fisher. You know,
You think that's makeable within the next 6 to 12 months?
I mean, if Derek's still around and wants to fight, yeah. But also, Derek's going to be looking for the most amount of money and the biggest fights. And, you know, if he may feel that the Johnny Fisher fight is not that fight. But for me, the first quarter of 2025, I know that Johnny Fisher against Aj-Dubois fills up the O2. And if you do that, there's big purses for all.
Would you like to see Joe Joyce sail off into the sunset now? Do you believe that's probably the end?
Didn't we, like well, before we started. The problem is, because he never got battered, he'll probably think, I'm all right to continue. But, like, realistically, if you're Joe Joyce, who are you going to fight now? Cash Ali? Dave Allen? Like, you know, Johnny Fisher's his mate, so he ain't going to fight him. Sol Dakers? Like, come on, like, he's made a few quid. But I think sometimes it must be difficult for these guys. It's almost like, well, what else am I going to do? Do you know what I mean? Derek's probably the same. I love boxing. I love training. I love the buzz. Fuck me, what am I going to do without boxing? You know? Like, what's Joe Joyce going to do with his life without boxing? And that's quite a scary thought probably for a lot of these fighters. So I understand the dilemma. But again, without being around these guys, it's hard to really give an opinion of who should fight and who shouldn't fight. Because maybe he looks unbelievable in the gym, just not doing it on the night. Or maybe he looks shot in the gym. And if he does, someone's got to pull him out and get hold of him and say, no more, mate.
I had an old friend of yours, Jake Paul, fought last week. What did you make of that?
It looked like a great event, you know.
You're definitely having me on.
Just be dead serious and say,
Mate, Google it. Honestly, Choo Choo FM, they're a big station out down in Orange County. Okay, I'm doing, that's on Tuesday, but I'm also doing a guest appearance at the zoo. It's a weird bit of activity, but I could bin that off as well. But let me know. I'll either move the zoo or Choo Choo FM, and we'll get it done either way on Tuesday. Yeah, sorry, what were we talking about? Are you going to get loads of stick for this? What were we talking about? What did you say?
I actually forget now. Choo Choo FM threw me.
Yeah, Joe Joyce, people around him, you know, make the decision, but I think I was pleased with Derek. Like, good crowd, like, you know.
I'll move on from that one.
Oh, Jake Paul. Oh, you were asking about Jake Paul. Sorry. Look, like, I mean, look, as a, you know, in terms of promo, in terms of marketing, in terms of ideas, in terms of freshness, in terms of crowd, in terms of energy, you can't knock it. I just said to someone the other day, you just got to, like, I watched DAZN put out a clip, you know, when someone's filming it, like, on a phone, like, it's the standard is pretty poor.
Do you think that you could sit with DAZN and say, right, Jake Paul wants to become a world champion, let's put him in with someone like Chef Clark. Let's make that fight and see.
Chef Clark.
But if you want to get to the levels of becoming a world champion.
Come. Stop with the bullshit. Let me tell you what the plan is. The plan is, whatever you fucking do, don't get beat. Right? So everyone you fight, like, you should know that every Jake Paul fight, you have Parsons on, every Jake Paul fight, he's not going to lose, right? Because the matchmaking's really clever. And the Mike Perry matchmaking was really clever because it was a tiny guy that could not beat him. Impossible. But he was credible, he's bare knuckle. Yeah, the reality is, Jake Paul lost to Tommy Fury. It's just like when we talk about Jake Paul wanting to become a world champion and fighting those guys, Jake Paul lost to Tommy Fury, who is a really nice bloke and made a fortune out of YouTube, but he couldn't win an English title, right? And Jake Paul lost to him. That's the level that we're talking about. But still, like, as long as you don't take it too serious, as long as you don't, like, you just take it tongue in cheek, I think he's good for boxing. I think it's, you know, drawing numbers and all that, all the stuff about I want to be this and be. Don't take it too seriously. But the matchmaking's clever, and we'll see if he fights Mike Tyson. I mean, I don't think so, but we'll see.
Liam Smith made some comments about Ben Shalom. He referenced you and Frank Warren in those comments where he said that I'm still close with Eddie. I'm still close with Frank. I have a great relationship with both, but with Ben Shalom, I don't. And he said he'll have the last laugh. Just in terms of your knowledge of the situation and your relationship with Liam and knowing Liam like you do, what's going on there, and is that irreparable now for Ben Shalom and Liam Smith?
I have absolutely no idea. Ask Ben Shalom. I mean, Beefy doesn't really say stuff like that unless there's something has gone on, but I didn't see the interview. But I think Ben should be out of this week with Bacoli now. I'll ask him. Why did
Is Liam Smith a hard guy to fall out with, though? Because he seems from the outside that he is.
Yeah, Liam's straight. Liam's an honest, hard-working guy. If you treat him with respect and you pay him on time and you're good to your word, you'll never have a problem with Liam Smith.
Yeah, mate, whenever you can fit me in, that's fine. I appreciate that. you are. I'm not having this. The zoo, you're doing an appearance at the zoo and you're on 2QFM, which I've searched up and done.
Searched it up.
Good, mate. What is going on?
Oh, mate. We've done this whole voice note sketch on IFL. It's fucking hilarious, mate. You are a diamond. I'll fit you in tomorrow, mate, in between having a pony. Cheers, mate. Right. No, Liam's a straight-up guy. You never, so I don't know what's going on. I mean, you're not going to get any bites from me, COLM. Start causing trouble. So, ask Ben Shalom.
You really are maturing, Edward. Ben Eubank, is it back in play now because of this Eubank fight with Canelo falling through? Who is there out there for him? And what's the situation with Conor Benn? Because we're still haven't heard anything.
I mean, what we're after is a date. No more messing around. And Conor's speaking direct to UCAD and British Boxing Board of Control, and hopefully we can get that date where he can fight again. That's what we want now. The Eubank fight is just the fight for everybody. I don't know what his plans are, Eubank, whether there's a fight in Saudi or whether there's a fight in the UK or whatever. But look, he remains a big name. And Ben Eubank remains the biggest fight in British boxing outside of Fury AJ. So, we'll see.
Two more from me. Shakur discussions. You met him after our trip in Philadelphia. I don't know if you've seen it, but Ariel Helwani had a little laugh with me saying that he felt like I was cramping your style in that interview a little bit.
I mean, I met with Shakur, Jay Prince, Josh Dubin. Great team. Great, like, really honest conversation. And the conversation was, I would love to sign you, but I need to deliver the right fights for you. And if I can't deliver those fights for you, maybe I'm not the guy to be with. I think, put words in their mouth, I think we all agree that with the right fights, I'm the right guy for the job. But I've got to deliver the right fights, and he'll be here Saturday, as will the rest of the world. And if we can work with Shakur, I would love to work with Shakur, but it's got to be right for him. It's got to be right for us as well. But on my part, I would love to be Shakur's promoter because I think he's a great fighter.
So a lot of people have been saying that Shakur and Tank is almost done for November. You've just done a deal with PBC for Berlanga, Canelo. does that give you a bit of leverage in that Shakur-Tank discussion to say that you can do a deal with them?
I think if you're PB, I mean, the only way that I'm involved in a Shakur-Tank deal is if I'm working with Shakur, and at the moment I'm not. Whether he needs me once he does that deal, or whether he signs with PBC, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised to see Tank against Shakur, because fights get made, like, situations and circumstances are everything. Do you understand? So Tank's got all his eggs in his basket for a Lomachenko fight. Then that falls through. You're really left holding your dick at that point, going, blimey, who am I going to fight? Boom, Shakur's a free agent. He's ready to do a deal. And it just, timing's everything, you know? So I wouldn't be surprised. I haven't spoke to the guys since I saw him about a week ago. But maybe they're in discussions for that fight. If they are and they haven't signed with PBC, I'd love to be a part of the team. If they have, good luck, and maybe we'll work in the future. But you know, I hope that Shakur, with us or without us, can make the fights that can define his legacy.
Last one from me, Ed. Knowing you like I do, I believe you'd probably know pretty well now.
Not really. What are things like knowing you like I do?
Well, knowing you like I do, as before you really interrupted me, I believe you probably have texted AJ within the past week or two, see how he's doing, talking about coming into this big fight week. Obviously, his big fight week looming. We're, what, 6 weeks away? A little more. Have you messaged AJ? How's he feeling ahead of this? Because this is kind of feeling like this is going to be Anthony Joshua's biggest night in boxing.
Well, I spoke to AJ last night.
See, so I do know you quite well.
I didn't really know. I haven't spoke to him for probably a couple of weeks. Yeah, maybe, no. Certainly not a week, 10 days or so. I mean, I don't, like, I think AJ's the kind of guy that you check in with every now and again. He's so razor focused on his camp. Sometimes I feel like when you're knocking your bollocks out in the gym, like, and you're sitting there at night tired, and you know, last thing you want to do is look down at your phone and see Eddie Hearn, because he'd probably be thinking, oh, it's something about a fight, or it's an appearance, or it's something to do with the zone filming. Oh, you know, so sometimes I'll just fire him a text or give him a call, just say how's things, but probably catch up when I get back. Don't really need to say much to him, really. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's got to do. He prepares 100% perfectly. He'll be in the best physical and mental shape. Ben Davison will have the game plan down to a T. Turn up, knock out Daniel Dubois, become 3-time heavyweight champion of the world. That's it.
How does he do that? Break it down. How does AJ beat Daniel Dubois?
Just by being too good. Just by being too good. That's it. You know, Daniel Dubois is a very good fighter. It's a tough fight. But AJ is, you know, I don't think that many would disagree that AJ's just better. He's just a better fighter than Daniel Dubois. Doesn't mean Daniel Dubois is not dangerous. Doesn't mean Daniel Dubois can't win. But, you know, if you're better than someone and more often than not you beat them, you're a favourite going into the fight. And he's a favourite. But if you make mistakes or you're not prepared, you can get beat. But, you know, whilst it's a very dangerous fight, I think it'll be a thrilling fight. And I think it's one that AJ wins by knockout.
Edward, it's a Sunday before the fight week. I've had a touch here, you know. 30 minutes. Absolute
you're
touch.
You're going to go back to Coogan, aren't you, and go, mate, I've just landed the interview with the big fish.
And he interrupted me the whole time to talk to Parsons on his phone. I'm going to get pelters in the comments.
Oh.
Fucking hell, man. Oh, I hate you so
He's gonna
much.
love it, isn't he?
22 FM. No, my head's gone.
He's a funny bastard.
Edward, we'll leave it there. Catch up this week and hope that at some point this week we can get you singing out a little bit of Eminem or California Love down the mic. You're going to have to do it this week. I'll hold you through that, Edward. Thank
Wall Street Memes Casino
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.